Greetings, denizens of the digital world. It is I, the Serial Killer, coming to you today on day 167 of the year of vlogging dangerously. And today we're going to talk about aliens, because, fuck it, I feel like it. To think that there's no other life out there other than what has evolved on this tiny, minuscule little ball we call Earth is the ultimate of arrogance. It should be obvious. It's not to some people. Wow, it looks like I've got a hand, like, coming out of nowhere here. It's like, yeah, okay. Okay, because we're not really that intelligent, as evidenced by what I just said, apparently. No, it would be arrogant to think that we're the only life out there. And, in fact, most of us with a rational brain in our head don't think so. I'm going to sneeze in 2 seconds. 1, 2... And I'm still going to film because that's how I do things on this channel, and you know that. It's hokey, it's bullshit, it's one-take wonder town, and that's how we roll. But yes, most of us rational folk, we know that it would be arrogant, and we know that there's got to be life out there. And what I find chains so many people is limited thinking. Acknowledging that there's other life out there. Boom. That's something a lot of people do. But acknowledging that it may not be life as we know it in any sense of the way whatsoever is something that doesn't occur to a lot of people. For all we know, there could be clouds of silicon floating around out there that are intelligent in a way we don't perceive, because we're not that same wavelength. It's not to say that it's smarter than us. It's not to say that life is more evolved on other places. It's just evolved in different ways, and there's fundamental differences to be crossed. And we're not even talking language here. We're talking the way that communication happens at all, and perception happens at all. Who's to say they have this, that life out there has the same senses we have, and that we have the same, that we have the ability to even perceive it? And the reason I'm talking about this and rambling about life and whatnot is that recent evidence has been found that planets, well, there's a hell of a lot more of them out there than even we knew. By the very definition of things, the way that traditionally it had been thought, there had to be a very certain amount of building blocks present for a planet, and I believe it was silicon and carbon were the 2 building blocks that a star had to pour that stuff out. It's silicon and oxygen, and you know, rocks were formed from this, and those rocks formed planets. We're talking planets as in the terra firma, Earth-style planets, not necessarily Earth, but Earth, Mars, Mercury, anything with a core, hard core, anything hardcore. These planets, we thought they needed a certain amount of stuff to be there, but scientists have recently realized that this is formed much faster than anticipated before. That this type of planet exists on a scale that's grand, and that's awesome, because it means there's a lot more potential out there than we even realized. And that's great. Now, science fiction nerds and geeks and stuff, we always knew there was a shitload of planets out there, and there are aliens galore, and we're going to find them. And that's what the people at SETI are trying to do. And you all know about SETI. If you don't know about SETI, you're not cool enough to be thinking about aliens in the first place. SETI is the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. It's a gathering of scientifically inclined minds that put out signals out into the ether to try and find alien life and get a response back from it. They send messages out, they send radio waves out, and see what comes back. And now they've got so much more to point at that it's probably going to be a massively fundamental shift for them. And that's cool, because it's dynamic, it's changing, and that's the very essence of discovery, is embracing that dynamic atmosphere. And if you don't have one, it's stagnant, and everything is just the same and boring and lame. So hey, aliens, they're out there, we're going to find them one day, and that's all I got to say about that. So, as usual, I have been the Serial Killer. Questions, comments, concerns, death threats, you know where to put them in the comment section below, and I will talk to you all tomorrow.